Hello, candle lovers. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Greg, and this is All Aboot Candles. Happy Sunday, everybody. I am here with the weekly wax wrap-up for you. This is a really quick breakdown and synopsis of all of the candles that I finished burning this week, how they smelled, how they performed, etc., etc., etc. I've got a lot of candles to get through this week, so let's just jump right into it. First up, I finished a Wicked Vanilla Woods. Ooh, spooky. Check out the snake, guys. People were just living their best lives when these finally went on sale for $12.95. I got several because at that point I had a chance to burn one and I really enjoyed it. The scent notes on Wicked Vanilla Woods are magical vanilla, glowing amber wood, and enchanted pink pepper. Oof, I love this fragrance. My first experience with it was when it came out in body care. I smelled it in the store, but there was no candle, but I liked the fragrance so much that I got it in the body wash, and those were some lovely showers. So I was really excited to see it come in a 3-wick this year. And when I first smelled it on cold, I was quite concerned that it was not going to have any strength and throw, but it actually performed quite well. To me, I feel like this could pass as a fairly nicely done, almost high-end like perfume, like women's perfume, because it really hits a lot of those great perfume spots. It's got something a little bit peppery, something a little bit creamy, something a little bit musky. It's very mid-range. And there's like that peppery note in here that I really like that sets it apart for me. I like it more than Vanilla Romance. I like it more than Bonfire Bash. I really like this one. And like I said, it performed better than I thought it would. It burned really nicely. It was really nice and clean all the way from the top to the bottom. Just a little bit of discoloration on there. And I actually ended up liking the way that this burned. It was a much prettier candle burning than I thought it was going to be when I saw it like pre-burn. And yeah, I'm glad that I stocked up on these because I really like this one, and I'm not sure when it will come back. So Wicked Vanilla Woods, really happy with that. Strength and throw, probably a 6.5. Not bad at all for a vanilla candle like this from Bath & Body Works. Manage your expectations. I never really tried it in my more open area. I'm guessing in an open area it would be like a 5.5 or a 6. But this is a really nice bedroom candle, in my opinion. Yeah, lovely. I really enjoyed that one. Eddie's Leather Jacket, the Stranger Things collab. Hellfire Club. Eddie is like this character in Stranger Things who's like a rocker. He's playing guitar, wearing a leather jacket, and because of that, everyone thinks that he's like a Satanist. You know, like the devil panic that happened in like the 80s and whatnot. I really liked this candle. Now, I really like leathery scents. I really like leathery vibes. And the scent notes on this one are black leather, soft musk, and smoked suede. Oh, I really like it. It's got a little bit of like a dirty grit to it and a little bit of sweetness. I think this is far superior to the leather and brandy candle that always comes out in like the neutrals line. That to me is just a very generic men's cologne, whereas this is like a pretty nice, like spot on, like vintage leathery feel. It's more of it's a higher ranged candle than I would expect like a leather candle to be. Usually leather is like very deep and dark and like down in the range. But this one, I think it might be sort of that smoky suede note that's lifting it up just a little bit, making it like a mid to high range candle. And yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I mean, I do have a thing for leather, fragrance-wise. And I really liked this. And also, it performed beautifully. Look how like that wax looks really good. I burned this until it extinguished itself. Really nice burn from top to bottom, no sooting issues. Strength and throw was a solid 7. That's in a more open area. In the bedroom, this was like a 7.5, almost an 8. This performed a lot better than I thought it would. And I'm actually considering a repurchase. I've got a feeling that we're going to be seeing these Stranger Things candles lingering around for a while. So if there's a really good sale, I just might be repurchasing that one. Honestly, it was not bad at all. I also finished up a midnight cocktails. I had a really good week for burning this week, guys. I pretty much liked all of these candles. Midnight Cocktails, this is last year's version. It's also out this year and it looks like that. They look to me to be exactly the same, like thick ropey wicks, white wax, so I'm guessing they will perform quite similar. And this candle performed really well. The scent notes on it are cedarwood, clove, and tobacco, but I also pick up it is midnight cocktails, and so I do pick up a little bit of like an alcoholic vibe, like almost like that brandy note that you get in leather and brandy. And there's definitely some tobacco and some smokiness. It's got a little bit of a glowy vibe to it. And it really does sort of invoke to me like a sort of smoke-filled jazz cocktail lounge. I really like this, and it performed so well. From top to bottom, I burned it all the way down to the very bottom. A little bit of discoloration near the end. The very last burn, I kind of just let it go because I knew it was going to be its last burn. So I kind of let it go off, and once I realized that the wick nickels had started drifting, you see how they're moving towards the outer edges there? Once I noticed that was happening, I just called it a day, but I was really happy with the way it performed. Strength and throw, solid 7 in a more open area. In the bedroom, I found this was like an 8, maybe even an 8.5, and the throw was good on it too. Like it definitely traveled. It had a really strong presence to it. I just bought this again in the new packaging, so yeah, repurchase for me. Recommendation for you. Someone asked me recently if it really is smoky, and I do pick up on a smokiness. Sometimes you just associate tobacco with smoke because of, you know, if you're as old as I am, you grew up in a time where you were around cigarette smoke all the time. And like this is, it does not smell like cigarettes, but there is a tobacco and a smokiness to it that I can picture not everyone loving, but I love it. Ooh, I love it, I love it, I love it. I also finished up Trick or Treat from Goose Creek. This was a first timer for me. It's all right. You know, I don't know if I would necessarily repurchase this one, but I did enjoy burning it. It was a little bit too sweet for me. The scent notes are light graham cracker, pumpkin, milk chocolate, and vanilla. And yeah, it's basically like a s'mores candle with an apple note. It's pretty mid-range. The top note is the apple. And it's actually quite bright. And then in the mid, you get a chocolate. And then the base, like the finish to this fragrance, is like that graham cracker. I think I would have liked it a bit more if the apple was toned down a little bit and the chocolate was amped up. Although then I think it would smell quite similar to Black Candy Apple, which I just finished burning, which I also enjoyed but wasn't like over the moon. But yeah, no, Trick or Treat was a good one. I don't think I'll necessarily repurchase it unless the mood really strikes me, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. It looked nice when it was burning. It really did give me like sort of that Halloween-y apple pumpkin chocolate vibe, and it performed pretty well. For a Goose Creek candle, this was colored wax, so That's not discoloration you're seeing there. I actually found this candle to burn really quite nicely from beginning to end. There was a little bit of puny wick syndrome, PWS, that happened in the last third of the candle, but not so much that it really affected like the strength and throw, which, yeah, was probably about a 7. I mostly just burned this in a more open area, and I'd say it was a solid 7. Yeah, like I'm saying, not a bad week of candles for me. And now this one was a real surprise. I'm like the only candle YouTuber that I know of that covers DW Home in any way. And I've got to tell you, like, I've had some experiences with these larger 2-wick candles. These ones are 15 ounces. I think that the best DW candles have always come out in this format. 2 wicks, 15 ounces. And look at that. I burned this all the way down until it extinguished itself. Now, the first couple of burns were not off to a great start. It took a really long time to pool out on the first couple of burns, but then it burned like a dream. All right, the scent notes I had to get off the website. Okay, Storybook Pumpkin. The scent notes on this, oh, there is a scent story. A luscious blend of fresh harvest pumpkin, green corn, ambered allspice, and ground cinnamon, layered over spiced chestnut and touched by glowing elements of rich brown sugar and vanilla maple. So the scent notes are harvest pumpkin, acorn, amber, allspice, cinnamon, brown sugar, and vanilla maple. Now, heads up on that vanilla maple, because the vanilla maple was a thing with this candle. I mean, this was a good heap and portion of maple syrup, but it wasn't a terribly like sugary, syrupy, saccharine, artificial maple. It was a fairly authentic maple. And that to me is the prominent scent note in this is like a maple, but there is also something a little bit nutty about it. A bit of kitchen allspice. I don't pick up on a real amber note other than the sort of the maple, the texture of that maple note could be almost like a resinous amber as well. A really sweet resinous amber. This is a very, very sweet, very syrupy candle and not my favorite fragrance, but I actually ended up enjoying it much more than I thought I would. But the real shocker is the fact that it burned really quite well from top to bottom, and the strength and throw was like a 7.5. A 7.5. That's in my more open area. This candle had a presence to it. The scent traveled. It was quite strong. And honestly, since I didn't really love the fragrance that much, it was a little bit stronger than I wanted it to be. And it was a beautiful jar too. Beautiful jar. Yeah. That's why I keep giving DW a chance. Some of their candles I buy really just for like decor and ambience, but some of their candles, like I said, particularly these larger 2 wicks, every now and then I've been really surprised by some good ones. They had a eucalyptus and sage candle out in the summertime that was actually quite phenomenal. And although I wouldn't repurchase this, because I just wasn't over the moon about the fragrance. If you're at a Marshall's or a Winners or a Home Sense and you smell this and you like it, I have to vouch for the fact that it performed very, very well. Shockingly well, in fact. All right, what else do we have here? Pink Power from Above Love Co. This is part of their breast cancer awareness collection. And this Pink Power candle was really quite fabulous. They all come with like a cute little trinket attached to them. These are 100% soy wax candles and single wicks, so you've got to manage your expectations a little bit for strength and throw, but Above Love Co. does pretty good. Like, sometimes these little single wick soy wax candles are powerhouses. This one was probably not quite as strong as I would have liked it to be. I burned this in my bathroom in a hurricane, and under those conditions it was probably about a 5 or a 5.5, which is actually pretty good for a soy wax single wick. The scent notes on Pink Power: pink lemonade pie filling, graham cracker crust, and French vanilla creme. Now, the thing that I love about Above Love Co. candles is that, you read these scent notes and you kind of have it in your head what Bath and Body Works or a Goose Creek or a Homeworks candle would smell like with those scent notes. Probably very, very, very hard on the pink lemonade, but they do a great job of balancing their fragrances. And this is the only pink lemonade candle that I can think of that I've ever burned that I really liked, because it's not super, super sweet and artificial and saccharine. You can tell that this pink lemonade is a lemonade that was not a Crystal Light. This pink lemonade was made out of real fresh lemons and maybe raspberry. I don't get there's no raspberry in the scent notes here. But I feel like that pink lemonade pie feeling is like a lemon and a raspberry note. And then on the bottom, there is something a little bit Grammy and vanilla. And it smooths it out and just balances it quite nicely so it's not super top heavy. I really love this candle. It performed great. I mean, I let it burn too long at the end. So I might have forgotten about it a little bit. And in my hurricane, like, this thing really kind of started to roar at the end. This was completely my fault that it looks like this. I have never had an Above Love Co. candle look like this before. I needed to have blown this out and trimmed the wick in order to have finished it, but instead of doing that, I let it go way longer than it should have. But it burned really nicely, like these candles always do from beginning to end. No complaints whatsoever. I also finished up a vanilla chai. This is a candle that I got from Michael's. Their brand of candle is called Ashland. And I actually hauled these candles 1 or 2 weeks ago. I did a big candle haul because they had a huge candle sale. I got this bad boy for $3.99, and it is 17 ounces. Vanilla chai is a single wick. Strength and throw is really not good. Okay, so it's a nice enough fragrance. Like, it's not super complicated. It's not as bad as like a dollar store candle. I'd say that it's kind of maybe more on par with like an IKEA candle. You know what I mean? And so, not a fantastic fragrance. And strength and throw is probably a 2 or a 3. So I had to be standing over it. I had it in a hurricane. You had to really be standing over it to smell it at all. But it was a fairly nice light chai fragrance. The thing that I was impressed about, though, was how beautifully it burned. I mean, I burned this thing all the way down to the bottom. I didn't burn this candle for fragrance after I realized that it was basically unscented. I burned it for ambiance, and I burned it with other candles that would sort of fit like a vanilla chai scent profile and complement it. But I really just burned it for the ambiance, and it burned all the way down to the bottom really nicely, really cleanly. I could let it burn for a long time without it starting to like soot or anything. I mean, at one point, I think I had this bad boy burning for 7 or 8 hours. I did trim the wick at some point in the middle of that 7 to 8 hour time frame, but I really do appreciate when you have a candle that you can just use for ambience and just let burn for a really long time. It had a really nice big bright flame on it, cast a nice glow. Yeah, and like I said, said, it was a really clean burn. It pooled out nice and quickly. And so fragrance-wise, performance was nothing. But as a candle, just to like have around for the ambience, it did really well, which I'm glad to report because I bought quite a few of these. Yeah, every now and then you just want a candle. You just want a candle like on the bedside table or whatever, just, you know, for the glow of it all. The glow of it all. I also finished up, oh gosh, I love this candle. This is Amber. This is a single wick Bath and Body Works candle. Nobody liked these candles. There was Amber, Vanilla, Orange Blossom. I stocked up on these during semi-annual sale. I got so many of them and I have not got sick of them yet. I also stocked up on the Vanilla and the Orange Blossom and the Cypress one. I really thought that they killed it with these fragrances, and the Amber one was my favorite. And the scent notes are plum, fresh rose, and woodsy musk. And, you know, if Amber can be a difficult scent to describe to people, but I think that this is the best example of just a very straightforward, pure amber fragrance, you know? So if you are confused about what an amber scent note should smell like, this would be the candle I would get you to smell, which is appropriate since it is called amber. Oh, I love this candle, and it is a powerhouse for a single wick. I burned this in a hurricane in my bedroom. It's like a 7 or a 7.5. Even in my more open area, it's like a 6.5 pushing on that 7. It is a single wick that has a presence. You don't need to like search for the smell. You can't buy it anymore, but I finished it, so I gotta wrap it up in my weekly wax wrap up. I think I might put this little tiny bit in my candle crock tonight and just finish it off that way. Yeah, that's all I have for you folks today. All of the candles that I finished burning. What are your plans tonight? My plans are The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. I'm not a huge video game person, my dear friends, but I was a real Nintendo kid. Like, I was really brought up on Nintendo, and I have a super soft spot in my heart for anything Super Mario and anything Donkey Kong and anything Legend of Zelda. Legend of Zelda is my favorite like video game franchise. I've played every Zelda game from beginning to end multiple times. I'm a huge Zelda nerd. And this is their new one, Echoes of Wisdom, where apparently you're actually going to be playing as the Princess Zelda. So I am quite excited for this. I just finished the last Zelda game, Tears of the Kingdom, and it was amazing, like phenomenal. So I'm really excited to get into this. Video games are expensive now. $80, man. 80 freaking bucks. And let me tell you something. I should save this for a My 2 Cents segment, but it's not candle related, so I'm gonna gripe about it right now. Has anyone else ever experienced this? This is happening more and more with lots of things. So I go to checkout. It's a brand new game, not a previously played. It is brand freaking new. I go to the checkout counter, and the girl, who is really lovely and friendly, and so I didn't start a fight or anything, but the girl was like, oh, would you like to buy the software protection for this for $4? And I was like, software protection? I've never been asked this question before. This is a new thing because just like 1 or 2 years ago, I bought the last Zelda game and wasn't told I should buy software protection. And I was like, what does that do? And she's like, well, if there's a glitch in the game or it won't work, then we will replace it for you. And I was like, I've never had any problems with Nintendo games. And she's like, well, it happens once in a while. And I was like, $4? I was like, I guess I'm a sucker. I was like, sure. Like, she was a really sweet girl who had been helping me out like quite a bit. And we were just having a cute conversation about like comics and stuff like that. And she gave me a free art print. And so I just had a really lovely exchange with her. And so I didn't want to like grill her about this, but what's happening here? Why do I need to buy an insurance policy for a video game? I'm so sorry, but this is a video game made by Nintendo. And so if I put it into my Nintendo Switch and it doesn't work, I'm going to expect that you either replace it or refund me. I didn't tell that to this girl because I just didn't feel like getting into it. You gotta understand, like, I am an absolute delight when it comes to retail people. I really am. And sometimes I think retail people regret coming up to help me because I will just keep talking your head off. Like, and then they might do something sweet for you, like give you a free Zelda print. And so I am an absolute delight to, like, you know, airline workers, like the whole 9 yards. I just feel like you are always gonna have a better experience if you are delightful to these people. And so I didn't want to get into it with her because she's just doing her job. But if I put this video game in my console and it doesn't work, are you not just going to refund me or replace it for me anyways? Why do I need to buy an insurance policy in the anticipation that your product is not going to work properly? Like, I mean, I guess it's kind of like a warranty. I guess you sometimes will want to buy warranties for like microwaves or like fancy kettles or what have you. Like, I get it. We all have to buy ticket protection now for concerts and ticket protection for our flights in case something happens. But like, where are we drawing the line? Now you have to buy a protection for a video game in case the video game doesn't work. If I buy a Nintendo game and put it into a Nintendo system and it doesn't work, that's Nintendo's fault. Why am I having to buy an insurance plan for a video game? Like, what is next? What has happened, you guys? Why is this happening? I don't understand why companies are not expected to give you a flawless product anymore. And not only that, but you are expected to basically buy an insurance policy so that when their product does up, they'll fix it for you. And now we're doing that with video games too? I am just shocked with the way that consumers are being treated right now. And we can loop this back to a candle conversation because I am just shocked at the way that consumers are being treated right now. We're paying the highest prices ever for the worst products imaginable. I mean, where does it end, you guys? Where does it end? Okay. I'm sorry, but I just really needed to get that off my chest, and I'm not sure where I'm gonna do it other than here. Tonight I'm gonna be playing Zelda Echoes of Wisdom and, you know, acting like a teenage boy. I don't have a lot of time anymore to really be playing video games, but I make it a priority for certain things, such as the adventures of Link and Princess Zelda. Anyways, that's all I have for you folks today. I'm gonna be watching The Penguin tonight. I know a lot of you guys are too. I'm also excited about that. We are cooking spaghetti and meatballs and garlic toast. I had a salad for lunch, so that's what we're doing, folks. Thank you so much for joining me. Leave me a comment, like this video, subscribe to my channel. That would mean the world to me. You can follow me on Instagram at allabootcandles and email me your burning questions at allabootcandles@gmail.com. I hope you guys enjoyed episode 1 of Burning Questions. Episode 2 is coming shortly. And so until next time, my gorgeous candle-loving friends, let's burn some candles and bitch about it. Thanks, folks. Bye now.